In example number 6, we're solving rational equations with a binomial in the denominator. We're going to solve the following rational equations and state the excluded values. When we look at the denominator, can we factor any of these? Well, if you look at x minus 6, we can't factor that any further, and x cannot be factored any further either. So then we're going to find our restrictions by setting the denominators that have variables in it equal to 0. So we have x minus 6, which is equal to 0, or x is equal to 0. So when we solve for x minus 6 equals 0, we add 6 to both sides. So therefore x is going to equal 6, or x is equal to 0. So those are our restrictions. Then we take a look at how many terms do we have. We have one term on the left side of the equation, or we have one term on the right side of the equation. So therefore we have two terms. Then we have to determine what is the LCD. Well, the LCD, x minus 6 and x, they do not have anything in common. So therefore the LCD is going to be x times x minus 6. So I'm going to show you two different ways of being able to solve it. The first way is continuing what we've been doing. We're going to multiply each term by the LCD. So we have 3 over x minus 6, which is equal to 5 over x. And then we're going to multiply each term by the LCD. Well, the LCD is going to be x times x minus 6 over 1, x times x minus 6 over 1. So you can see here in the first term here, we have x minus 6. And what we can simplify is the following. Okay, we can see that x minus 6 goes into x minus 6 one time. So what's left is x times 3, or 3 times x, which is equal to, well, x goes into x times x minus 6. X goes into x one time. So what we have left is 5 times x minus 6. And now we're going to multiply this out. So 3 times x is 3x, which is equal to 5 times x, which is 5x, and 5 times minus 6 gives you minus 30. Then we're going to isolate x on one side of the equation. So we're going to subtract 5x to both sides. 3x minus 5x gives you negative 2x, which is equal to negative 30. Divide both sides by negative 2, and x is equal to positive 15. Because negative 30 divided by negative 2 is positive 15. So the solution is 15. And the excluded values are 6 and 0. And this is a conditional statement since we have one unique solution. Now, there is another way of being able to solve this. And because it only has two terms on each side of the equation, and it only works when you only have two terms that are fractions, this makes it a proportion. And when you have a proportion, we can use cross multiplication to solve for this one. So we can cross multiply here. We can take 3 and multiply it by x. We can take 5 and multiply it by x minus 6. And you can see here it ends up being similar to what you get in this step. So in this scenario, you wouldn't necessarily have to find the LCD when you have two terms written like this.